know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your sports betting needs and sports betting info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's NHL Hockey Stanley Cup Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code, that's BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash. I'm here with our former legendary tight end, Justyn Dunn. JD, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? What's going on, man? How you doing? How's this nice, wonderful night that we're getting out here? Dealing with some things that actually some personal things with my nephew. My nephew is actually in the hospital, so I just want to put that out there first. He's an avid guy coming and watching our show. He loves it. He loves all the interaction. So his name is Chad. So everybody put a prayer in for my nephew Chad that he'll do better, and speedy recovery. And that's what we're looking for, man. But hey, should we want to bring on the prayers and the good energy and all those good things, man. So we staying positive, everything. So we faithful people, man. We're gonna be there with it. So, but that's other than that, man. Hey, everything's good, man. Another episode of Chiefs Concerns, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, prayers up to Chad.
Thank you.
Hope all is well and everything goes well. So we got some things to touch up before we go to the segments tonight. So first thing, I want to not going to tell you who, but on the episode of the week of July 13th, so the episode will come out July 14th. We're going to have an active player. He's on the receiver depth chart right now. And he's going to come on our show and he's going to talk to us about everything that he's kind of gone through this offseason with the Chiefs in last year, being on the practice squad. So that's exciting stuff. We're going to have him come on. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I want you guys to, be excited about, potential of who it could be. So I'm going to let you guys simmer on that. But yeah, no, it's going to be exciting to talk to one of our receivers, especially on an offseason like this, where, a lot of changes have been going on in that room, going down in Texas and, catching balls from Mahomes and kind of having that little summer camp down there with the guys. So that'll be exciting stuff. Then another thing today was kind of a sad day in the NFL community. A linebacker, 26-year-old Jaylon Ferguson was found dead at his home early this morning. Don't know what happened. I'm not going to speculate here. But then also a veteran later on today, another Baltimore Raven, also Indianapolis Colt, but 55-year-old defensive tackle Tony Siragusa, the Goose, passed away. So very sad day in the NFL community, specifically in the Baltimore Ravens community. But JD, do you have any words on these losses today?
Yeah, man. It's always sad to hear guys, anybody lose their life. A young guy like Jaylon, like I said, just thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Dealing with this, just ask right now just for patience and peace, and everybody, because I've seen some silly stuff on Twitter and stuff, about what it could be, and this. Look, man, the guy just lost his life, and trying to be the first one to say why it was and stuff like that, I think, man, it's insensitive, to be honest with you. But I just want to say, to his family, hope, everybody's just holding on to each other during this time. And Goose, man, played against Goose a number of years. And so he was the big guy in the middle. Yeah, that was who Goose was. And huge personality about him. always had that presence. And I think guys just really love being around him. What he contributed, for, just a teammate, but also too, just on the football field. It's just a heck of a player and had a respect for him. And, this is the alumni. This is my brothers, and this is my brotherhood. Anytime anybody loses their life, like I said, guys that play ball, it's just one of those things that you got to look at and say, man, it's tough. It's tough. But my heart goes out to him and his family dealing with this. Just tragic. But, hopefully, everybody just gets around each other, hugs each other right now and understand how precious life is, regardless of, if you're playing football or, if you're not doing anything else, just cherish one another, man. Life is just so precious. It is so precious. So we just got to hold on to one another. But yeah, so Jaylon and the big goose, Siragusa, hey man, to honor you all, cheers till we see each other again, brothers. All right.
Yeah. Yes, sad stuff. And Siragusa, for a lot of the young guys of my generation, obviously, I watched football as a young kid, but I think a lot of people in my generation, the younger, probably remember Siragusa being the sideline guy on Fox NFL Sunday from 2003 to 2015. He stopped doing it about 7 years ago. Man, he was great personality. He was a real fun guy to watch the games. Big personality. And I believe he was also in the movie 25th Hour with Edward Norton. I believe he had a small role in that movie.
Really?
I believe.
Okay.
So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, no, daily prayers go out to his family and Jaylon Ferguson's family.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with that being said, I know sometimes when we get into some of the somber stuff, we have to go. It's the Chiefs show. We got to go to the topics for tonight.
Yeah.
And
but life is important, so it's good to talk about those things, man. We real people, and everybody, things are more than just football.
Sure.
In life, and we know people out here are going through things as well, right? They watch our podcasts and us out here in the real world. So we just want to let them know we're just putting a lot of love to you all. For supporting us, but also too, man, if you're going through anything, man, just let you know that you got guys out here that love you. Me, Marcus, Eric, and so, we there for you. All right. Y'all keep trucking.
100%. And, and also, and yeah, like it's life, but, we put together this show, it's to provide a little escape and a little levity,
Absolutely.
Bringing some of that to you all. So we're happy to come to you guys weekly. But so it's tight end U week. It's the second annual tight end U week. And we'll get into more what JD's got to say about the tight ends. But we got, for it being tight end U, we've got two tight end segments on the show. And not often we have two tight end segments on the show, but we have two this week.
What are we doing? Shoot, switching it up a little bit.
Yeah, we got to. We got
love some tight ends. Yeah.
Show our love and respect. So first one tonight. So Rob Gronkowski retired yesterday. It's the second time he came out of retirement from the Patriots and came out to play with Brady in Tampa, and now he's retiring again from Tampa. And 11 seasons playing in the NFL. He's regarded as one of his era's probably one of the best tight ends of his era. Set many records, including most receiving TDs in the postseason for a tight end. Being the first tight end to lead the league in receiving touchdowns with 17 in 2011, and most 100-yard games by tight end at 32. So naturally, when it comes to the NFL and the guys retiring, we always talk about legacy. And naturally, there was a debate sparked between Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce. And there was a time when Travis Kelce was a young buck when people called him Baby Gronk. Kelce didn't like being called Baby Gronk. I remember he had a press conference. He said, "Don't call me that," or something like that. Something to that effect. But the debate was who's going to go down in history as the better tight end between Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski. Obviously, Kelce has at least, knock on wood, he had at least 3 to 5 years left. Maybe hopefully more with the way he plays. And he's really never had any significant injuries like Gronkowski did have a lot of significant ones. But he's got a lot of ball left to be played for him. But as of right now, kind of seeing where the trajectory of Travis is going, Who do you think is going to have the better career between Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce?
Who is going to have the better career?
Yeah.
Between the two. Wow. You know what? I tell you what. I know we have these debates all the time about, greatness and GOATs and who's this and who's that. And I'll say this. Both these guys, I think, have cemented what they have given to the game, their legacy, no doubt about it. And I'll talk about, Gronk first. Gronk, without a doubt, celebrate his 11 years of playing in the NFL, gave a lot to the game. I mean, absolutely dominated up there in New England, came down to Tampa Bay, won another ring, and did a good job down there too. And so he was integral in all the wins and all the Super Bowls. Well, at least some of them when he was playing, that New England had won when he was up there. So I can't say enough about what Gronk did. And to be honest with you, when he first came out and was catching footballs, I was just kind of looking at this guy. I'm like, man, he's a good player. He's kind of, he's a really physical guy, really good blocker. Just took up space, and he was just housing guys out there on the football field. And so I always wondered, like, a guy this big just could move like that, kind of that fast and getting open. And he was just killing safeties, linebackers, corners. It didn't matter who he lined up against, man. And in his time in heyday, he was fun to watch, man. Gronk was fun to watch. So, congratulations of his 11 years. He gave a lot. Gronk, good job. Good job. He did a great job. Just go out there and go playing. Now, let me move over to Travis. Okay? Move to Travis. When we talk about when it's all said and done, right? We're talking about in the future, what guys may end up being like or being about. Well, Travis has kind of set himself apart a lot because of what he's been able to do on the football field. With the 1,000-yard, games and consecutive years after year. So, look, he's without a doubt, if he doesn't get injured anymore and he continues to have the success that he's having, like you said, another 3 or 4 years, he's going to be able to play, maybe even longer, because it's all about consistency. I think there's no way, like in the conversation, and I know, look, it's all subjective, that you can't sit there and say that Travis will not be one of the best of all time, period. I think they was talking about bringing up some tight ends names. And of course, they brought up Gonzalez. I think they brought up Gatesy, Winslow, Sharp, then Gronk, right? And I see the guy was like, hey, man, I know one name you forgot about. It was Travis Kelce, right? But Travis is still playing. Travis is still eating. Travis is still killing them out there. And so, nobody wants to be premature in saying those things, but everybody understands Travis's greatness out there on the field, right? I mean, come on. He's, without a doubt, to me, the best tight end in football right now. Now, I even seen somebody having that debate, like they had him like maybe third or fourth, like best tight end in the NFL, right? And so everybody's going to have arguments, whatever they, what they talk about, right? Now, I'm going to have my mind as a tight end looking at these things, the thing he's able to do, the way he's able to play, catch the football, and just, be elusive. He's without a doubt. I think when it's all said and done, man, he's going to be absolutely one of the upper echelons, and it's going to be hard for guys to beat. Mm. Now, with that being said, because there's different eras, and I think that's why sometimes everybody's kind of, a little bit put off by the comparison anyway, right? Or the GOAT, who's the best, this and that all the time, right? Because everybody's asking me, well, who's better, Tony or Travis? Who's better, Tony and Travis, right? That's always the question I hear all the time. I'm like, look, man, I think the Chiefs had two of the best tight ends ever played a game of football. That's the way I feel about it. So, and then people could say, well, look, how many targets did this guy have? What was the offense like, when, Tony was playing and Travis was playing? And I think, these things encompass a lot, because I look at it more so, numbers tell the story. I don't think they tell all the story, right? Like I look at a great tight end encompassing everything. Catching the football, being able to get open, being dominant out on the football field, blocking, all those things. And Travis, he checks all the boxes. He does. And I think sometimes he just doesn't get much of recognition for his blocking. But I watch him out there. As a tight end, I'm watching everything. I'm watching, him getting in the hands. I'm watching the play when it develops. And I'll know if he's getting a block, he's not getting a block. Or, like Shannon Sharp would get, he get in the way. He'll get in the way because he just wasn't big enough. Sometimes he just make sure, look, I just got to hold a guy up 1 or 2 seconds, and that was it. Where maybe Gronk might have been a little bit more forceful in his blocking, right? So I know it's all going to be subjective, but I think when it's all said and done, I don't think you could deny Travis saying he's going to be better than Gronk. I just don't. And I think the numbers kind of bear it out. Now, what Gronk has is, of course, what they're going to say championship. Look, he's got rings. That is an indicator, and it is. It's an indicator. So that's why I say these conversations are kind of subjective. To have a debate. But I'll say this: both these guys are great tight ends. Both of them are going to be one of the best to ever play the game, without a doubt. So, hey, man, you pick who you want to get. But I think, I'm not going to sully anybody, say anybody's not good enough. Man, Gronk was dominant all during his time that he played, no doubt about it. And Travis is still killing him while he's playing right now, and he's going to continue to do that. So, like I said, as long as he's not, doesn't get hurt and he's consistent and on doing those things, he's going to be fine. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I don't know.
I'm with you. And I think for me, and when we talk about the Gonzalez, the Gonzalez debates, and I know a lot of Chief fans now are, people have something against Tony with the whole Atlanta stuff and whatever.
Right.
People are they always say Kelce's better than Tony. And if you look at the top tight ends of all time, Sharp, like we said, Gronkowski, say Kelce, Gates.
Yes.
All those guys have, I'm not saying Gonzalez in this one. All those guys have one thing in common. They all had quarterbacks who were going to be Hall of Fame quarterbacks throwing to them. Gates had Breeze for a short period of time. He's got Rivers, who could be possibly a Hall of Famer. Arguably, his numbers will get Hall of Fame numbers.
Right.
Gronk had Brady. Sharp had Elway. Kelce's going to have Mahomes.
Right.
And not to knock all the quarterbacks. There's some quarterbacks that Gonzalez had that were badass. I thought they were badass, but they weren't Hall of Fame famers. Trent Green, badass quarterback, not a Hall of Fame.
No doubt. Right. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Biggs, one of our guys, he had that amazing season where he targeted the hell out of Gonzalez. Saw a quarterback, not a Hall of Famer. Gerback, not a Hall of Famer. Brody, not a Hall of Famer. I mean, Heward, not a Hall of Famer. I mean, all these guys that, Tony put up these numbers and with quarterbacks, and you've seen through the ages where he has badass tight ends come out of college, amazing, but they go to a team like the Browns, for example, in the early 2000s, where they were going from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, and those tight ends were impacted by it. They never really panned out.
Right.
But was that because of them, or is that because they're their quarterback situation? They never matter for Tony.
No, hey, look, and I think that right there is a great case. That's an argument, because it didn't matter who was under center. He was dominant, and it was all about what he was able to do out there on the football field. Yep. So if he get the ball anywhere near 88, man, he was snagging that joker. Yeah. And I played with him, so I know what he can do. I know how great he was. Mm-hmm. So when people try, hey, what do you think? I'm like, look, man, I know without a doubt in a game, if something's on the line, I'm looking at 88. There ain't no question about it. The whole stadium knows you should go to him. And so that's it, bottom line. I'm like, look, this dude right here is a machine. I'm talking about incredible. And I'm talking about the consistency of not being hurt over the years, not missing games. Come on, man, 17 years? Yeah. Yo, I don't think people taking into account. And I get it. Sometimes when you're young and you don't quite see, the plays and watching the person play, you can't quite appreciate it like you would as somebody who was a current player, right? Because of the domination. But who's to say, man, that if Patrick had, Tony when he was playing, not like how many catches would he do, right? If the offense was predicated off of kind of more of what they're geared toward now, right? More of a passing league, what would his numbers be? So we don't know that, but I do know that sucker right there, he's a whole different animal.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with any of those guys. And it's a good point. forget the fact that, let's say we want to talk about, let's say Tony played with Pat, and I can imagine that Tony in his head's like, oh man, I wish I played with Pat. But in this day and age too, we're talking about the day and age too. So not only Pat, but fast forward the amount of years, because Tony's putting up numbers that were like insane for a tight end back in the early 2000s. But you put that into it nowadays with feeding Tony the ball. I mean, with the offenses that we have now, I mean, who knows what he could have put up. And that's something that's so unique to Tony that no other tight end that this conversation we're talking about, none of those guys had to go through the quarterback carousel that he had to go through. And
should I even say also too, Tony was getting doubled and triple team a lot. There was time he was getting like triple team, and Gronk had some of that up there in New England. Yeah. There was times, he was getting, double and triple team. And I see sometimes, Travis getting some of that. I think they do a good job of spreading the field out where you can't, double, triple team a guy as much, defensively like they used to, because we used to have, a running game and whatnot. We lean on Priest or Larry. We had, that's how our offense was kind of predicated. And, we did a lot of great things, successful offensively. But yeah, man, I just, that's why I say, man, sometimes these arguments about what they want to say and how they do it. Hey, man, look, you choose what do you want to say. I'm taking it from what I know. Yeah. Okay. I watched the Joker, watched him get better. I watched the sucker dominate. I watched when I know for a fact the end of the game is on the line. We need where we going, and it's and the same here with Travis. And that's where we should go. Yep. There's the game on the line. When we need a play, something happened, boop, give it to him and let him hit his head on the goalpost. So this right here, this logo, it's had the two best tight ends of all time. Period.
And don't forget that logo's also had the best run blocking tight end. Just the best pass blocking and run blocking tight end in the guy I'm talking to right now. So,
yes, sir. Hey,
and that's a part of the game we don't even talk about anymore. Is that the tight ends who can block like that? Because a lot of that doesn't even exist anymore. A lot of it's like what you said. It's kind of a guy who can come in and block for like maybe a second or two, and that's what would be that blocking tight end now.
Yeah, right. Hey, man. Hey, and I appreciate all of it. I do. I appreciate every little bit of it. And I enjoyed it. And these guys, have put in a lot of hard work. And these guys that's out here blocking and catching and whatnot. Hey, I'm celebrating them.
Yep. And that's we will have more for the tight ends in a little bit. Okay. So next one, we kind of talk about it here. The next topic, you mentioned that Tony was double teamed and he was kind of one of our main go-tos. Our guy. I mean, to say, talk about Kelce now. I mean, he was kind of the Kelce and Tyreek for a period because he was our guy. He was our number one receiver, number one tight end. But so everyone's talking about the Chiefs wide receiver room, how it's so deep. And it's the deepest it's been in a really, really long time. And we've talked about on the show. And one of the things that I've seen a lot of fans talking about online is this question. So it's a two-part. Fans want to know how you think Mahomes' mindset will change by having good depth versus a reliance on one guy in Tyreek. And how might he anticipate defense changing their coverages now that this wide receiver depth exists? You got to be there in a time period where we went from kind of so Tony centric to then we had Kennison, we had Sammy Parker, and we had Dwayne Bowe, and we kind of saw the offense kind of expand a little bit. Mm-hmm. What do you with those questions in mind? How do you see the game kind of changing for Pat having so many guys to be able to spread the ball to?
I think the room has gotten better. Just I think from top to bottom. And I think that's one thing that we got to acknowledge is that, from man to man all the way through, we are a better receiving core, right? I mean, we had Tyreek who was at the top of his game, and then Travis, but then all of a sudden you got these guys who, without a doubt, have been great, on their teams before, right? On the previous teams. MVS was probably the third receiver up there in Green Bay. JuJu was number one when AB left, ended up becoming number two at one point, then number one, all pro. And then you're talking about, the guys that, McCole has become better over the years. And so that's what you want to see, that type of progress. And then we go talk about Skyy Moore, what he's done in college and maybe his transition into the league. And what maybe I'm a big believer in a guy, Josh Gordon, having a whole offseason under his belt. I think he'd be able to contribute. I think he'd be able to contribute a lot better than what he did last year. And that's going to be significant. And so there's a number of guys, I think, man, just in the room. But I think Patrick having those options, guys, is a great problem to have, because now, he don't have to rely on, like you said, the whole deep ball, get open, let me throw it over here. I mean, that's one thing. It's great to have that, right? In your arsenal. But now all of a sudden you don't have to rely on it, right? You don't have to just kind of throw your eyes at like, man, I know he's down here. I know he's going to make a play. You got playmakers all around you now. And he can kind of pepper it like he wants to. Now, defensively, I think defenses will still give us kind of that. If we tend to stay with a passing game a lot, then they're still going to be able to drop, 7, 8 guys in coverage. I still believe that. And so with the new guys kind of coming in and having learned how to deal with the offense is going to be the challenge, right? Patrick does a great job of extending plays with his legs. Okay, I think he's one of the best in the games, able to do that. I mean, he's been phenomenal in that aspect since he's been back there calling plays. And so having those options and getting guys open, guys that he know are like proven guys, these are proven guys that's played other places that can catch the football, I think was going to give him a sense of comfort. And so that's what you see. The offense is going to be more so kind of geared. It's still going to be a passing offense. What you do to change the defense up, you got to run the football. Okay. I'm not going to miss that point about it at all, because look, we got 3 stellar running backs. I know we're talking about the wide receiver room, but look, we got CEH, we got Rojo, and now we got McKinnon. Okay. And we got 3 guys that can run the football and catch the football. And I think they're going to be a big part of what we do. And if they're not, they should be. Okay. And I think it'll help open up the pass a little bit more. It's just, the run opens up the pass and the same vice versa. And so I think Patrick's attitude is coming into the season just like, oh man, this is great. This is great. Because now I know guys are going to get open, starting to get rapport with him. He knows guys are going to catch the football. These guys, look, and these guys, all these guys got hands. So I ain't said anything about a tight end yet, right? I ain't even said nothing about Travis. So I'm just talking about the wide receiver room and the running backs of the type of weapons he's got around him. So, man, they're going to look good. Our offense is going to look good. Matter of fact, I think we're going to have the best offense in the AFC. I do. Shoot, we'll have one of the top offenses in the NFL, without a doubt. When it's all said and done, I think when everybody starts gelling together and this thing looking like if it comes all together like it should, oh, man, you're going to have some fun out there. Pat's going to be putting up a whole lot of numbers. There's going to be a lot of things that's going to be a little slightly different, but a little the same. Pat's still going to get guys, you're going to throw them, put darts on them right in their chest. We got guys, like I said, that's going to be able to snag it and catch it. So that's going to be good.
Do you think with the amount of guys that we have, do you think there's going to be how many 1,000-yard receivers do you think we'll have this year? Let's say Kelce will get one.
Yeah.
We'll have one. What about the receivers? Because I honestly don't think – I think there's a chance we might not get a 1,000-yard receiver. I think we might spread it out and have a bunch of guys at 800. I think it's going to be more like that, maybe a 900 guy, but I think it's going to be more spread out that way. I mean, that's what I think, but, I mean, just so many weapons.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a lot of guys just right under that cusp of 1,000. 800, maybe 9 here and stuff. I think Juju definitely got that capability, right? He's been able to do it. So MBS, hey, he has an ability. Like these, that's the thing about it. We got guys that have the ability to get a lot of yards, catch a lot of balls. Shoot. I don't know, man. Offensively, man, we might have maybe one of our best offenses to date. Yeah, with Patrick back there for what he got surrounding, for real. So, hey, it's good to have the home run hitter and Tyreek. We ain't got that guy no more. We got a lot of guys, home run hitter and consistent guys get the job done, and it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be fun to watch.
And it feels like we have a very selfless group. And I'm not saying that Tyreek was selfish, but I'm just saying that based on what we saw last when we heard the sound bites where he's talking about, I only got 3 targets at one game. Now he was texting his agent about it. Who knows? He may have been going to Patrick and Andy about it. But I feel like we have guys, MVS, who was a number 3 in Green Bay. You know, he knew his Aaron Rodgers. JuJu was amongst Deontay Johnson. What's his name? The big receiver from Notre Dame.
Oh shoot, I just forgot to see his face. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Claypool.
Claypool. Yeah.
He was amongst those guys. He was also with Antonio Brown. So he's also played third fiddle and second fiddle. He's never really been a number 1 guy. And I feel like Josh is another guy who, you know, he's been that number 1 guy before, but I feel like it's more now. He kind of wants to fit in with the group. Hardman's been number 2, number 3. I feel like we have so many guys who just like, they're not going to care if they're not getting a bunch of catches or a bunch of targets. They're going to know it's my game. This game plan benefits me or benefits somebody else. And I feel like there's going to be that kind of pressures off to make sure someone's happy. And that's one thing. Tyreek Hill may have not said anything to Patrick. I'm just saying. But like that kind of thing for Pat, it's like, I need to make sure Tyreek's happy and trying to get in his due. Maybe force a ball his way that shouldn't go his way. And that I think that's gone now. That's my opinion. What do you think about that aspect of it?
No, I agree with you. I think right now all these guys are just trying to get comfortable in the offense, right? And also too, we can't minimize when guys leave from a team and whatever it may have been, like controversy, maybe not getting a whole lot of balls because you was injured or you're trying to revamp your career. To appreciate the time that you get and every ball that you're getting, right, to contribute to the overall scheme of things. And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to take in from what the team standard is, not, all the accolades from the individual, team aspect. We want to win this thing. And if I can contribute doing that, I think guys on this squad are all about that. I really do. And like you said, hey, these guys right here, they definitely do seem like they are selfless about things. So, yeah.
It's exciting hearing these guys talk. I mean, everyone's seems so, and I think that we talked about this on the show, but that Texas camp they did, a little getaway camp where they all went. I think that really paid off dividends, and I think we're going to see that kind of pay off when we get to the season. Yeah,
I do too. I was about to say Tyreek's his name. I was like, but I'm just leaving it alone. Okay, but hey. These guys, that is strong camaraderie that you can get, especially like that during the offseason. Now these guys have been talking, and I'm sure they having conversation stuff right now. And I know every single one of these guys are excited to get to training camp. I know they are, right? And everybody's just waiting to get to the season because everybody's like, man, I'm just, they have so much, I think, confidence in the room because I think they know everybody's ability in there, and that's good. That's a great place. That's a great place to be. So, yeah.
I'm excited to talk to one of our guys in that receiver room about kind of what we just talked about.
Be a great discussion.
Yeah, it's gonna be really excited to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next topic, this is about another receiver. We talked about JuJu. There's something interesting here. Yeah, so we talk about receivers, new guys have to learn the playbook. We talk about Josh Gordon. Maybe was the playbook the reason why he didn't play last year? We find out it's not the reason, but having to break away from bad habits not only is another thing you kind of have to get, not bad habits, break away from your kind of norms that you kind of learn to grow with Pittsburgh. And he kind of talked about a big thing with Pittsburgh versus what he's learned so far in Kansas City is kind of staying engaged with the play. And what he said, quote, "We're always taught just to stay on the move because you just never know what you'll get out of him referring to Pat. Right. He also made note that the Chiefs have an entire practice period devoted to scrambling and unscripted plays. And he said over the last 5 years, since he's been in the league, he's been with Big Ben. Big Ben hasn't been really the Big Ben from his rookie and first 10 seasons where, he was a lot of unscripted plays. He'd break tackles and roll out and find someone. JuJu got the latter part of that. He got the older Big Ben, so he wasn't a lot of much of unscripted plays.
Right.
So the question I had here is, when you talk about getting accustomed to playing with a new QB and system, developing chemistry, are these the kind of things we're talking about? Like having to learn, always staying, because when I saw it being engaged with the play, I feel like a receiver, that's just something you naturally are always engaged with the play. But I guess, going from old Big Ben to Pat, I mean, Are these the kind of things we talk about when you getting developing that chemistry? These kinds of things.
Oh, definitely. Because when you put a plan together, game plan, or however you run your offense, you have spots that you need to be in. You have the timing down when you run your routes, the depth of the route. And so sometimes as receivers, you're expecting the ball to be on you, right? Like when you come out the break, you're expecting the ball to be there. And sometimes it's a clock that goes off in your head because that expectation is telling me, well, if it's not here, then something's going wrong. Something's wrong. Something that happened or somebody else has got the football. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, where Patrick does a great job extending plays with his legs. And so him saying he's being engaged, he understands that you got a guy who can, run the football and throw it on a run. He can make throws that other guys just can't make, like the no-look pass. Like, he's on the sideline. He's like, man, I ain't seen anything like that. Like, he faked me out, and I'm on the sideline, right? So all those things are new because it's almost like I kind of liken it to like Magic Johnson. Okay, if you're a Magic Johnson fan, then you know that when he played, Magic Johnson made sure that everybody that played around him was ready for the ball, because it could come out of nowhere. You just don't know, because it was showtime. That's what he was doing. How Magic do? It was magic, because that's how Patrick, in the football world, how he does things. He could run, he could throw it up here, side on, and so guys know, look, this just make sure I'm on the move. And so I told you, I think I've been saying this, it almost seemed like it's a big scramble drill. I've heard people talking about, man, what play are they running this? I'm like, look, man, these guys are just running to get open at a certain point, right? Now you have the design route, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, we'll stay on the move, find a window. And that's why I always said it was kind of like a smaller man's offense, because the little guys could, you could fit behind a linebacker. You could go squeak in, right, 5 yards and catch the football and then run for 30 or 40 yards. So it was more so that, like, finding the windows and keep working for Pat, because Pat's going to find you. And if you're finding and you're getting open, then the football may come to you. But what we need to understand, I think, they're doing the scramble drill, but the scramble drill still has rules to it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I want people to understand that even though it's like it seems chaotic and there's still rules to what you have to do and to follow. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. So if you have like the deep route on one particular play, and you could either keep going deep, but as soon as the quarterback scrambles, at least part of our rule, the deep guy will come back to the football. Mm-hmm. Okay. The short guy will go deep. The guy that's, got the shallow cross, or, the middle read or the basic route may switch up and go opposite end. Okay. And so there's rules to what everybody is playing, and you got to know what everybody is doing. You got to know the route. The worst thing you could possibly do is have two guys in the same area at one time. And I think the Chiefs do a great job of guys not necessarily being in the same area where it becomes crowded. But sometimes what we seen last year, when Patrick is running around, he's trying to get the ball to guys. That's kind of what happened to Josh. Josh lost 2 balls like that last year off his hands into interceptions, because it's that engaging, like, keep coming back to the ball, right? And I've seen him get on Hardman a couple of times. Like, look, man, you need to go deep. Like, the rule. Like, don't just, throttle down when I'm coming. I'm looking for you to go deep. I'm looking for you to run across your, full blast on these things. And so you can see that in his eyes, and I can see that in the offense of what they're trying to do, especially if the guy's not open initially, or he does not getting the ball out of his hand right now. Stay on the move. Here's the rule. Know who's in your space, what you can do, what you can't do, and get open for Patrick, right? Find a window. So there's still rules to the chaos. It really is. But JuJu said, look, man, we're doing drills, so we understand this is what can happen in the game, because it will happen in the game. This is how our offense is predicated off guys not getting open initially and then finding the window or a hole that Patrick can get the ball to you. So we have the best quarterback in the business that can do that. I don't know any other quarterback that he may not be the fastest, but as far as fast as he is, getting the ball out of his hand and being that accurate, Okay. Hint, hint, Tua talking about accuracy. Pat got that. He already got it, man. So that's where we at, man. That's what JuJu's talking about. So
yeah, Pat's got that. He's got a sneaky athletic. Like he's not the fastest, but he's still got sneaky athleticism.
It's funny too because he's deceptive in his speed. He really is. It's not fast as what people think, and I think sometimes they might think Patrick's got a little dumpy around the midsection. I don't think they think he can move a little bit, right? Yeah. He may not look like the most athletic guy, but that sucker, he gets it down. He gets it done.
Yeah,
he's done trimmed down, man. He's an athlete. Yeah. Patrick's an athlete. Let's just put it that way, okay? He's played baseball. I'm sure he played basketball and other things like that, man. He's an athlete. So hey, look, don't let the smooth taste fool you, okay? Yeah. He'll get on you quick.
Now, what JuJu said though, because like in that quote, he also said that he's never had a practice period devoted to unscripted plays before. Now, that's not traditionally a part of the NFL periods, like the practice periods, right? The most teams have a practice period devoted to that.
No, we do. Yeah, we do scramble drill every day, every single day. But like the whole period, like in itself. So I don't know how they was doing up in Pittsburgh. But I know when we had it, there was always a time that we did scramble drill toward that, like it was a 2-minute scramble drill. If we didn't, like even on 7-on-7, if you're not getting the football, we work on scramble drill. Right. Because we just say, you come back, hey man, it's scramble drill, right? The ball's not coming out, scramble drill. Like you still had to work on it. We don't want guys just standing around. Right. And so that's what he was talking about. Like the plays are lasting longer than what he's used to. Okay. Because that's what's expected here in Kansas City. Yep. So we had periods that you would do scramble drill every single day. That was just part of it, you know? So like I said, man, look, work on practically every scenario that there is the guys could even think of. And that's why I say sometimes these things that happen in the game, coaches have thought it out. I mean, you have to. I mean, you have to think about what is it I'm going against if I get in this scenario. What's the contingency plan? How do I get out of it? What do we do in this particular thing? We all don't want to be looking like deers in headlights and just standing around. You know, we don't want to look bad as coaches like, oh, well, we don't know what to do, right? Let's go. Hey, it's what we do, right? This the improvise if you need to, but just make sure when you're improvising, you're not on top of another player while you're doing it. You're not running in and looking like, I don't know who like Three Stooges.
Right.
So,
I believe also in that same quote, JuJu said that he had never the first time he got a no look pass was Patrick in the Pro Bowl in 2019.
Oh, really? Okay.
He played the no looker to him in the game.
Yeah, man, be ready, man. Be ready because he'll hit you dead in your helmet and pop up, and you're not expecting it, and you have to be ready all the time. All the time. Did Trent ever do any no looks in practice, or Brody or Damon? No, They might have did it in team messing around, but not in practice now. Trent was. I mean, when I'm telling you, that was a great thing. I love watching Trent work because if the ball wasn't on the receiver, or it was in the dirt, or somebody missed the ball, Trent would count everything out. And it was precise. Like he knew how deep you had to be. And he knew if the timing was off because everything was like on time and everybody was expecting the ball. Ball was coming out of hand and you weren't even out of your route. And so that's what you knew. That was part of what the offense was geared to, was on timing. And he was great at it. Absolutely one of the best I've seen. Like when I'm talking about to a T in detail, depth of the route, timing of the route, when you're supposed to be. And Al Saunders, I'll tell you what Al used to say. Al Saunders used to say, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. That was our mantra. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Because if you're not, everything messes up because your timing is off. So
that's talking about being exact and precise with everything.
Yes.
And another way, well, Casey Prayers, I remember in our that preseason, we had some scramble drills with him. I'm sure. I mean, Did he ever no looks with him? No, I feel like he would be the type. He ended up playing in the CFL. They experiment with everything up there, so you know.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I can't think like no look passes. Not really, man. But Casey made people miss though, man. He was an athlete, athletic, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he wasn't sneaky about it. He was
man. Yeah, he make it look easy too, man. I used to love watch Casey out there running with that ball in his head and just put the ball up because he'd be out there like this, like dancing with it, like.
Yep. Yeah, that was another guy. We talked about Rod Gardner getting cut, and he was another guy that should not have gotten cut off that team.
Yeah, man.
That was a surprise. Okay, so next topic here. So this is interesting. I thought this was really interesting. In an article from The Athletic with Nate Taylor, it's been told that Justyn Reid is already being seen as the leader of the defense by many of his teammates, and that's what 3 months ago he got signed. So like, I mean, this is a very short time. But in the article, Nate Taylor spoke with Justyn Reid, and Reid said in the article, he had a lot of good quotes, but this is the one that stood out to me. Quote, "In my role in the back end, your teammates have to know you're going to be where you're going to be, and you're going to handle your responsibility on the field. That's what comes first. Your leaders need to be your best players, but your best players also have to be your hardest workers." I live by that. So, JD, what do you think of Reid's comments and how teammates are already seeing him as leader of this defense, kind of really replacing what we had in Tyrann Mathieu, who was the heart and soul of the defense? Seems like Justyn Reid is kind of stepping in and just taking from that what Mathieu left off.
You need a guy like that. And I think they realized who they were getting and why they were getting him, because they knew that he had that leadership quality about him. They knew that he was a stud out there. And so some guys you could just tell. You could just tell in the way that they maneuver, how they talk and communicate to other people, how other people are responding to him. And so him having kind of that sense of urgency and just putting things on his shoulders, I mean, shoot, the Chiefs did well with getting Justyn Reid, no doubt about it. You know, young guy. And I think that was like this right on the wall, just like, look, we just want to go younger with this. But if we could get a guy that's almost like Tyrann, that's what we want to do, right? And so Justyn Reid, like you said, he's intelligent guy. I think you said, he's well-spoken, but also direct. When you have guys that doesn't really wane from what they want to do, and you see the goals and what they're talking about, he's like, okay, this is a guy you need to follow. This is a guy that you need to watch. And so he's already saying, look, you watch how I work. Let that lead you, okay? I'll talk also, but also too, I don't want to be like the empty wagon, because there's too many, we all know guys like that. Hey, come on, guys, you're that man. You ain't doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And here you calling guys out. Man, I hate the guys like that. Come on, guys. You shut your tail. You ain't doing nothing, right? And so he's just commanding that type of respect and attention, and knowing, hey, look, I'm your first free agent signing. So y'all, hey, this meant something, right? So if we revamping the defense, and he understands like the shoes he had to fill and who he's coming in to replace, hey man, he's got to adopt all of that, every single aspect of that. And I don't think he's a fluke at all. I think he's a real deal, and we're gonna see it this season. But hey man, Justyn Reid, man, is going to be an exciting guy to watch. But also too, with the secondary that he has, is the most promising thing. Mm-hmm. When you got a young McDuffie out there, you got other guys out here who are still needed. They need that leader to talk to them and talk them through particular things, right? That is just your pulse. You need to have a guy like that hold guys accountable and get guys up and prepared. So yeah, he'll fill that role tremendously. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And it's cool too, because I mean, he's pretty much inheriting a defense, which is kind of the secondary, which has filled a lot of young guys. And he's I think he might be the oldest guy in that secondary now. I think he is the oldest guy, and he's a young buck.
Yeah.
And another thing too, with him, we talk about the similarities with Mathieu. He was the I believe he was the Walter Payton nominee for the Houston Texans last year, the year before. So I mean, this is a good quality guy we're getting on top of, just kind of the leadership aspect.
Right.
But is it rare though to kind of see a guy who hasn't stepped on a field yet? He's already getting that, like he's already being seen as a leader on the defense. And that's kind of we haven't really gotten to even training camp yet. He's already being seen as that. Man, does that speak volumes that a guy's already getting that kind of respect right away like that?
Oh, absolutely. Just in his demeanor and in his presentation and how he talks and how he carries himself. I mean, you can see it, like I said, and I think when he comes in, he's talking, not just talking a good game, but he's out there and he's showing it. And guys like that, man, it's just, they're not flukes. He knows what to do. He knows what to say. He knows how to present himself. And to me, he's the guy that's going to get the job done. And he's letting everybody know, like, look, I came here for a particular job. I'm going to get this job done. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to bring other people with me to make sure they get their jobs done too. Mm-hmm. So, no, I mean, a guy like that, hey, shoot, you want a guy like that on your team. And like you said, up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, hey, those accolades, they don't come easy, right? They ain't just being picked by anybody. This guy right here is a solid guy. Yep. So, good job for the Chiefs, man, going out and getting it for real.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing too. It's like, I know some people say, well, he didn't win it. He was the nominee for his team, but you know how many guys, there's 53 guys in that team, and a lot of them do a lot of charitable work in their communities. So it's a tough thing to achieve.
Man, if guys are saying that, man, them jokers just saying anything. They just want controversy. They just want to just say the opposite of whatever,
I will say I have not seen anybody say that directly about him, but I've seen that before where people just knock nominees from teams. It's like, well, he didn't win it. He just, he's the nominee. It's like, I mean,
ridiculous. Yeah, no, I get it. And like, if it wasn't him, just anybody, like, why would you try to minimize what a guy is being kind of chosen by his peers and everybody around him and recognizing his greatness and the leadership quality, whoever it may be. And you just want to hate on him or, like I said, diminish the contribution. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's the internet and Twitter comments that people. That's why I know people say. I always look at me. Oh well,
yeah, right.
Someone's knocking him for only being the nominee. He didn't win the entire award, but there's 53 guys on a roster who do a lot for their community. So that's not an easy award to get.
Right.
I mean, you guys had Brian Waters win that award every year.
Brian Waters, I think Will was up for it too. We had a couple guys that was part of it. I think T. Rich might have been maybe part of a nominee one year. Man. So the Chiefs have done a good job. They've had a multitude of guys that have been up for that award. I know when I was playing, I think probably throughout. You know what I mean? So and that's hats off. That's their commitment to the community and what they do to kind of get the guys out there. So just a great A organization, right?
Yeah,
it really is. So that's what that's all about as well.
That goes to show you how tough it is, though. You have a multitude of guys who are like doing so much for their community. It's like it's not easy to get that award even within that team, let alone the entire league.
Right. It's true.
It's crazy. Anybody to knock that's just an unpleasant human being.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so the last topic tonight, as we mentioned earlier, we had two topics for the tight ends, and this one is dedicated to Tight End University, Tight End U, which is going on this week. I think it started either today or yesterday, but all the best NFL tight ends have gathered down in Nashville, Tennessee to train and coach up fellow tight ends all over. And pretty much all the, I think almost every team is represented in this one. You got all the top guys are there. Dawson Knox, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Irv Smith, all these guys are there. I think Njoku's there too. Everyone's there. You name a tight end. You look at the group picture from last year. Every 32 starting tight end was there. All 32 of them. But this is the second year of the Tight End U. I know you're a proud papa. Seeing all the young guys go out there to Tight End U and kind of gather. But I want to ask you. I kind of let you take away this segment. Is there anything that you really hope the tight ends kind of discuss or talk about while they're all gathered there and together in Nashville? Or is there anything that you really want to say to all these guys out in Nashville right now?
Well, first time, I just want to say, man, hope the guys are having a great time down there. Everybody be safe. Don't do anything stupid, right? Because you need each and every one of you guys, right? It's just good competitors and playing football, NFL. Like I said, it's a brotherhood. So it don't matter if you're wearing a different uniform. You could be on your team next year or something like that happens. But, you want everybody to come home healthy. But I will say this. I think them getting together, I think you have to talk about contracts. I think you have to talk about setting the market for the tight ends. I think and I'm sure they have their conversations. If they're not, then they need to. Then I need to go ahead and drive down to Nashville. I'm like, hey, look, man, listen. Look, they've been screwing us over the years. Okay, we've been, the what's the name of the bridesmaid, not the bride, for a long time. We ain't the one they've been paying a whole lot of money to, and y'all been producing a whole lot. And every one of y'all guys have been absolutely stellar. Most of the guys, top guys. I mean, you could run through them. The top 10 guys that teams won't be doing what they're doing without these tight ends out here. I mean, they're supreme athletes catching a lot of balls. I mean, they are absolutely wearing defenses out. And so they are an important, integral part of what teams do offensively. And they have to be acknowledged for that. And they need to be compensated for it as well. If everybody else is being compensated for what they do on the football field and their productivity, then the tight ends need to be in that conversation as well. So I'm sure they're doing that. Like I said, if they're not, then no, I know they're doing it. They had to. I mean, that's part of like getting together, because you want to, make sure everybody's being taken care of. And it's good because you put your eyes on what the other guy's doing, right? Working out. So it's like, okay, look, I'm going to see if he got a new move, or he's, what they talking about doing. So it's good. It's good for the appearance. Guys get down there, every year. So I hope it's going to make it a yearly thing. But I think that's one of the things you have to do is you have to hash out the money aspect of everything and how guys are going to get paid. So we know wide receivers making top money, defense end making top money. Aaron Donald just set the market for defensive tackles, making top money. So now that's going to be something new in the conversation. We're talking about outside O-linemen, right? Tackles making a whole lot of money. Secondary, everybody's making a whole lot of money. Quarterbacks, of course, they're always going to be the first ones you give the money to. Mm-hmm. But now all of a sudden you got all of these tremendous tight ends. What are they making? Right? Well, we can do all right at the tight. Really? You think you can? Okay. Well, I don't know if the Chiefs would be as good without Travis Kelce. And then you start looking at Waller. You start looking, at Kittles. You start looking at Andrews. And you're going to start going up list, and this, right? On and on and on. So, we got to talk about just, the highest paid tight end or who's going to go up there, got to set the market. So I think who's the highest paid tight end? Is it Njoku? Is he the one? I think he might be. I think because he just signed a deal. Right. So I'm thinking he may be the guy. But I know he got a good deal. I know that. But the highest paid, and I know look, and it's commendable for what Travis is doing. And I agree with him 100% of cementing the legacy, what he wants to do. But the reality is he's got to be paid as such. Okay. We're talking about being, one of the greats of all time. We got him. Mm. So if he's here, he needs to be compensated for it. So that's what we talk about. So tight end, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your fellows around you. Go have a good time in Nashville. Nashville's a great city. Go in and get that grind and that work in. But hey, talk business. It's all business down there too. So on the field and off the field, right? So sometimes you just gotta you want to put a new wave into what you're trying to do at these positions and doing things a different way. I like it. So when they put these things together, put their heads together. To make his decision for Titan University, it was one of the greatest things ever. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
To what you said, number one, Kittle's makes the most. Kelce's number 2, Dallas Goedert number 3, and Njoku number 4.
Okay, all right. So What is Kittle making a year?
15 a year for Kittle. His contract was 30 million guaranteed. Kelce's 14.3. His contract was 21 guaranteed. And then Goddard 14.2. So he's just a little bit behind Kelce. And then his fully guaranteed was 14 mil.
Yeah. So yeah, these guys, they tight ends got to be up there in the 20s, man. I mean, shoot. Wide receivers, everybody else is getting close to 30.
Yeah.
Hey.
As the cap gets bigger, and it's going to happen eventually.
Man, money's going to be there. That's the thing about it. Money's going to be there.
Yep.
Set the market. Set the market.
Who's going to be the one to do that? Kittle wants Kelce to be the one to do that, and Kelce kind of said no to that.
I know it. I know, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen at some point here. So.
Oh yeah.
Someone's going to get it. I mean, hey, maybe when Pitts is done with his rookie contract, maybe he'll be the first one to do it. Maybe.
He got to produce.
It's true. Hey,
he got to produce.
He's got no Julio. He's got no one over there right now. No Ridley this year. He's going to be the only guy there.
Right. Yeah. So.
But. All right, fellas. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week. And hopefully, based on what we talked about last week, hopefully we're getting closer to training camp, and hopefully that edge rush, that contingency plan is gonna hit for us.
Yes. So I know, I'm sure there's some talks out there right now. So, all right, like I said, something's gonna happen. It's gonna have to.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was one thing I wanted to mention before we left. I did a little bit more digging. So Robert Quinn not only is our the former chief executive front office guy, who's there now as their GM for the last 13 years. But the guy who drafted him when he was in the St. Louis Rams, the head coach of the Rams at the time was Spags. Spags was the head coach when they drafted him in the first round that year.
Oh, shoot. There you go.
Quinn, you can trade for Quinn, or you can sign JPP when JPP played for Spags. So there's connections there with some of the options out there. So we'll see. Hopefully one of those things comes to fruition by next Wednesday, and we can talk to you guys about it. So hope you guys have a great weekend. JD, I'll see you next time, buddy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.